All right, it's my turn. So as you guys can tell from the title of this video, we are going to be looking at my 3x3. PewDiePie did a video on this. Jacksepticeye did a video on this. And, you know, I'm going to do it because there's no such thing as original content on YouTube anymore. So these are my, I guess, top 9, which is a weird number to go with. But, hey, it helped me kind of like narrow it down a little bit easier. Top 9 video games that have not necessarily my favorite video games. These are games that really impacted my life, that just are really close to, like, something I keep close. So here's the list. So, and I'm not sure how I'm trying to figure out how I want to format this for you guys. So we're going to kind of do this in a shitty top 10, well, in this case, 9 countdown, but not that we're not going to have any, like, cutaway transitions, be like, number 9. You know, we're just going to go with it, but we're going to start from down here with Assassin's Creed. Now, Assassin's Creed, and this isn't necessarily just the first game. So that's one thing with this whole 3x3 thing. Some of these are like all the titles just kind of put into one spot. So Assassin's Creed, I remember playing the first one, actually pretty close to when it first came out. I grew up pretty, not super poor, but we didn't have a lot of money. So like when I would go stay at like my aunt's house, her boyfriend at the time, he had a 360. He had actually just gotten his 360 not long before this, actually. And then I saw Assassin's Creed and I was like, whoa, what is that? That looks super cool. And he was like, hey, let's sit down, let's play it. I'm like, I think I was in like 5th grade when this, God, that was so long ago. But I mean, even playing it, because I actually just played it on the Twitch channel not that long ago, and it still holds up today. I mean, yeah, some of the mechanics compared to like modern day Assassin's Creed titles, yeah, it's pretty clunky, bare bones. I mean, this was before they even like added a dedicated parkour button. But I mean, the idea of it, and then what ended up like turning into what Assassin's Creed is today. I mean, like let's forget everything past 4 for a minute. I mean, because even 4, I suppose you could include 4. I mean, it was all stuff that it had a wide story, and it encouraged you to, I mean, like, for people like me who, this is actually the game that got me into doing side quests. I used to just ignore side quests, didn't give a shit. I was like, I just want to experience the story. But that's when I found out, at least through Assassin's Creed, this game itself is a story. There's so much little bits and pieces from the side quests that reveal so much of the story, you know, like. But then it was also the game, and a lot of my friends think I'm weird for this, but Assassin's Creed is the game that really like got me into questioning everything. Not like, obviously not question everything, but like look between the lines, you know, like with, and again, I try to keep stuff like this off the channel, but like patterns with certain things. So like relationships between religions and government and stuff like that. So this was kind of the game that kind of like got me into like paying attention. With the amount of hours I put into all these games, I mean just Assassin's Creed 1, I mean, I think, actually, funny story. So my first time playing Assassin's Creed, I got to the point where I think it was the doctor, the corrupt doctor. When I got to that point, it didn't save properly, and I had to start completely over. Now, a lot of people, when something like that happens, they'll just be like, well, screw this, I'm just going to play a different game. But I was so invested in what I was in this game that I started all the way back from the beginning, literally all the way from the beginning. And yeah, it was definitely a kick to the dick, but I mean, I loved it. So many hours spent on this game. It still looks good. Now, Call of Duty Black Ops was my first, like, current, like, I bought Call of Duty Black Ops, because at this point, again, like, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so most Call of Duty titles I was playing at that point, I was normally 2 titles behind. So, like, when Call of Duty Black Ops was a thing, I was playing Call of Duty World at War. And not to say World at War is bad, I mean, dude, World at War, in my opinion, is still one of the best Call of Duties to come out. The story with it, I mean, that was where Nazi zombies originated from. And so the amount of hours I put into just World at War, and it sucks I can't play World at War anymore. I can't. And I mean, I don't know if it's still even, like, supported anymore. I don't think it is. But the reason why I had to stop playing World at War is I was queuing into public zombies lobbies, and I somehow ended up in a modded zombies lobby, and I knew something was off because as soon as I spawned in, there was a fucking DeLorean driving around, and I was like, what? And all of a sudden I see all weapons unlocked, and I press Y, and I pull out a fucking ray gun. I was like, what? And then the guys, they couldn't speak English, or were choosing not to speak English. So I was like, guys, this is fucking awesome. How are you doing this? And all of a sudden, I hear them say a few things back, and I was told, I ended up in, like, a dark room, like a tunnel, and it says, you have been placed in jail for X amount of seconds. I was like, what the fuck? And I realized the tunnel I was in was the hole in the wall in the hell room in the original Zombies map. And so I was like, all right, well, fuck this. They're not going to let me out. So I backed out and then tried to queue into a different public lobby. And it says, we are unable to do this at this time. I was like, what? It said, you need... I was like, what? You need to... I think it was like something like, you haven't unlocked this content. I was like, okay, bullshit. I've put in well over hundreds of hours into this. So what the fuck? So then I tried to play multiplayer, and it says you need to be level 1 to play multiplayer. I was like, what? And I was able to open my combat record, and so the bar with my XP was like negative, like hundreds of trillions or quadrillions. It was so negative that, so apparently the way that it works is you need to be at least level 1 to play. Well, you start at level 1 so everybody can play multiplayer. But if your XP is set to negative, if it's below 0, so you're technically below level 1, even though I was like level 50 or something. I can't remember what the level cap was. I was max level. I couldn't do it. I couldn't play. So I literally could not play World at War anymore, and it broke my heart. I actually cried. And I'm calling Activision. I'm calling Treyarch. I'm trying every customer support that I can, and none of them could help me. It broke my heart. But the Call of Duty series in general, I mean, come on. I mean, for a lot of people, that was their first multiplayer experience on consoles, and it was just really toughened me up, I guess you could say, for the world. Because, dude, I remember some of the toxic lobbies I'd get into, just like the random dude in there saying like, oh, hey, how's your mom doing? Tell her I said hi. Or, you know, I'm not going to repeat some of the stuff I heard, but, you know, particular slurs being carpet bombed throughout the entire match. I had some of the best times I had with friends was was playing Call of Duty, and not just Black Ops specifically. You know, like Modern Warfare 3, and I know people have their opinions on Modern Warfare 3, but you know, I've met a lot of good people playing Call of Duty, and I mean, I still talk to a lot of them. You know, they're all good people. So Halo. Oh, so I know the thing says PC CD-ROM down in the bottom corner. So thing about that is, it was made such a huge deal that the Halo Master Chief Collection was coming to Steam. Not a lot of people realize that the first Halo was actually, you could play it on PC. It was one of the first PC games I had, and at that time it was one of those proprietary Dell systems that, you know, that like your parents would go buy. It's not, you can't do anything you can't upgrade the RAM really or do anything because everything's just like soldered together. You know, it's not like an enthusiast grade computer. But yeah, I pushed that computer to its limits playing this, and then a few other titles that we'll talk about on the screen. But Halo, again, is just another one of those games that, see, I moved around a lot. What year did Halo come out? Let's look. All right, Halo original release, November 15th, 2001. Wow. 20 years. Yeah. We're just coming up on 20 years on that. So I moved around a lot, but I remember Tanner. That's what his name was. His name was Tanner. So back when my mother and we were living with my grandfather, middle of nowhere. So not really the middle of nowhere, but you know, just like far enough out there where like you're actually surprised you find other kids your age. And there's actually like a small group of us, and a lot of them were actually like older kids. It's actually the other one, Josh. Josh was the one that actually got me into Inuyasha. He let me borrow his manga, and I'd read it. And then, of course, you know, older boy talking, you know, like, hey, just so you know, on this particular page, there's boobies. So, but Tanner if I'm remembering right, Tanner, I don't even think you would recognize me, or if you're even watching this, but Tanner, in my opinion, was one of those spoiled kids. I mean, and that might just be my perception, because I walked in his house and I was like, what the fuck? Dude, your couch matches your chair? Is that a flat screen TV? I had never seen a flat screen TV up to that point. I still had the big bulb, you know, the boom tube, you know what I mean? But I remember seeing the TV, and he was just like, yeah, hey, come on, let's go play Halo. I was like, what's Halo? He's like, dude, you're gonna love it. So we sit down, and I see an Xbox for the first time. I was like, what is this? Because I've been playing Super Nintendo. You know, I was playing on the SNES at that point. And he's like, this is an Xbox. You know, and then I remember playing it and just being blown the fuck away from what I was seeing. And then just, I was hooked. And I went home and I begged my mother for an Xbox. I was like, Mom, please, I want an Xbox. And she didn't know what the fucking Xbox was. And so she thought it was gonna cost the same as a Super Nintendo. And she went to the store and was like, yeah. What did the original Xbox cost? Oh, that's actually interesting. I did not know that. The Xbox launched with Halo. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Then launched in Japan February, like the next year. But yeah, so it was $300 then. Huh. But yeah, so yeah, she was like, yeah, we can't afford this. And then I think it was like 2 years later. I think it was 2003. Yeah, I think 2003 is when I got my first Xbox, and didn't have Halo, but I eventually got Halo. And then, so talk about just like the series in general. I mean, it just the co-op in Halo 2. I think there was co-op in Halo 1. Yeah, there was. But like the co-op in Halo 2, I remember going to my friend Booker's house, and I'm just name dropping everybody at this point, but we're going to my friend Booker's house. We loaded up Halo 2, and we did not stop until we beat it, which granted didn't take us very long, but yeah, we put it on Legendary and just smashed it. Just played all throughout the night. Like, I got there probably at it was after school, so I probably got there at 5 after doing my chores. And then it was pretty much as soon as I got there, we went straight up to his room, turned on the Xbox, and then I remember his mom waking up in the middle of the night and telling us to, quote on exact quote, go the fuck to sleep. But all we did was turn the TV down a little bit. Yeah, we beat it like in the morning. Two fourth graders playing on Legendary and just absolutely smashed it. Yeah, we beat it just before his mom woke up, because we beat it, and then I remember after, like, because we watched all the way through the credits to see if there was something there. I can't remember if there was or not. And then I just remember just falling back on the bed, just, oh my god, we did it. And then hearing a toilet flush, and we're like, he's like, my mom just woke up. That means I have to go home, huh? Yeah. Well, at least we accomplished the mission. Now here's the side note. If you guys don't know a lot of the lore behind Halo, I totally recommend you go back, you go look it up. I mean, Audible has some of the books, amazing books. Fall of Reach is a really good one, because that also gives you kind of like the origins of the Spartan 2s and how they came to be. And then Ghost of Onyx is another really good one. And what's cool is a lot of the books, at least the ones I read, don't really spoil the game for you as much. Like, yeah, they're referencing certain things that happen in the games, but I mean, if you play the games, and like love the games and love the story, you will absolutely love the books. They give you like a whole new perspective and appreciation for like the lore and the series as a whole. And same with Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Assassin's Creed, The Secret Crusade, that's another really good one. What's the other one? It's Kenway's Journal, but I don't think it's called Kenway's Journal. But basically, in Assassin's Creed 3, Haytham Kenway, Connor's dad, well, Connor finds his journal, and it talks about Haytham's journey to all the way through, from when he was a kid, interacting with Edward Kenway, who's his dad from Assassin's Creed 4. It gives you so, like, it's what I love about video games so much, is the world that these developers create is just insane. You know, find yourself caring more for people in these titles than actual people, which is weird to say, but it's like you care so much for somebody who does not and has never existed and will never exist. But fuck, I love video games. And moving on to Skyrim. Now, again, like, this isn't just Skyrim. This is the Elder Scrolls series in general, not including ESO. We don't talk about that here. But the entire Elder Scrolls series, again, like, this, one of the first console games I ever played was Morrowind. And I remember seeing, shout out to the OGs in the comment section that remember this. I remember watching Toonami, getting ready to watch Dragon Ball Z, and it was a promo on Toonami talking about Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
Tom?
Yo.
Have you played this game for the Xbox called The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind?
That's a long title. So what would you give the game on a scale of 1 to 10?
A solid 8.
You heard her, guys. Toonami gives The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind for the Xbox an 8 out of 10. If you care.
Tom?
And I was like, what? What's Morrowind? What? And this is back 3rd grade when I first played it. Yeah, I was in 3rd grade because this is when I lived in Iron River, Wisconsin. And again, like, I moved around a lot. Like, I've been dragged all around this country. And when we moved to Iron River, I didn't have a lot of friends. It wasn't until actually, like, when school actually started, I started meeting people. And so that first summer I lived out there, all I had was, like, the only thing that kept me content was playing in the yard outside, jumping off shit. And then my mom's boyfriend's brother's Xbox and my Nintendo. But I remember seeing the game case and I was like, is that Morrowind? And he's like, yeah, how do you know about it? Because again, like, I'm in 3rd grade, like in between 3rd grade, before 3rd grade even, because it was a summer before 3rd grade, so I'm super young. And he's like, how do you know about Morrowind? I was like, I saw the ad for it on Toonami. And he was like, oh, I don't think you'd like this kind of game. I was like, come on, let me try it. He was like, okay. It's not, explosions and, shooting. This is actually like a totally different kind of game. So I was like, come on, let me try it. And I remember booting it up, and I remember the first race my character was a dark elf, and I gave him like bright red eyes. I tried to make him look like a jackal from Halo, and I just started playing. Like, I'm very nostalgic right now. This whole video is nothing but nostalgia. But so I'm playing, and I realized very quickly this game does not hold your hand. Like, you learn to appreciate those games like Halo, like Spyro, and all those other like cartoony, action-y games of that era that really directed you where to go. Elder Scrolls, that's what I love about Elder Scrolls game. Like, yeah, there are some things set before you that heavily imply, hey, you want to progress the story, you might want to do this, or hey, you might want to do that. But Elder Scrolls really just kind of drops you in the world. She says, have fun, go for it. And God, like with Morrowind, I remember just running through the woods and then just getting fucked by those pterodactyl things. I can't remember what they're called. But I was just, I like heard the noise. I was like, oh, what's that? And all of a sudden they just start. The Elder Scrolls series is what taught me, like, was like my first open world experience. Like, some people try to tell me that Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was an open world experience, but I mean, kinda, but you were still kind of boxed in and like guided through areas. No, it was Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls was 100% like my first true open world experience, was like open world sandbox style game. And it really just kind of helped kind of bring out my creativity in a sense. I mean, especially with Skyrim. Skyrim, there's so much to do. Like, you can go into the crafting, you can go into. It got to the point where I was literally making up quests for myself to do. You know, like, there was these certain forts that would always respawn bandits, and I would like kind of like come up with like a weird story in my head and play it out in Skyrim, like role playing. I mean, I did the same thing in Morrowind too, but it was Morrowind for me was honestly a lot of killing civilians and fighting cards. Now, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time needs no introduction, really. This game, I find this game is on a lot of people's lists, and for some people it's just like, yeah bro, I got Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on my 3x3. What's up, bro? I'm like, so deep. But you see, my whole relationship with this game was my mom's ex-boyfriend's son when we lived in Ponca City, Oklahoma. He loved this game and was always playing it, always trying to beat it. And I just always loved that time I would get to just sit with him, because at this point I had never had an older brother. And so when I met my mom's boyfriend's son, that kind of introduced me to that dynamic of having an older brother, somebody to look up to, somebody to share these experiences with. And I just loved hanging out with him and just sitting there watching him play Legend of Zelda, busting his balls every time he died. And I mean, I wasn't that good at the game either. I was in, what was it? It was like kindergarten. First, it was we lived out, no, actually, yeah, that's right. I moved to Ponca City, Oklahoma halfway through kindergarten. We moved down there, graduated to first grade, and then Catholic school happened and got held back a whole year because of an incident with the nuns. And we'll go through that in a whole other video. But you know, I was in first grade. You know, I mean, I got past the big spider in the Deku Tree once. And it was. And then, then like later on in my life, I played it. I've beaten it at this point. But it was such a good game for me at that time in my life. Again, like somebody who just didn't have a whole lot to express myself with, and never had like an older brother to share any experiences with, because when I moved down there, my little brother lived up here. You know, but yeah, so when we moved down there, I didn't have my little brother stayed up here. So being able to sit down, like the reason why this game sits with me so much is just those memories of sitting there with him and just hanging out and basically just trying not to hear our parents fighting in the other room. You know what I mean? Like, I love coming back to this game because it always brings back those memories. Now, Rome Total War. So Halo was my first PC game, but this was like my first mouse and keyboard strategy game, like type of game. Like, this introduced me into, you know, this type of game where it was, you had to think, there was so much more stuff to think of and be worried about. Sorry, my chair keeps sliding down. So much more stuff in this game that you had to worry about rather than, like, you know, Call of Duty and all these other games. You know, you have to be aware of how the rest of your troops are. You need to be aware of your flanks. You need to be aware of this. And if you play the campaign, now, when I got this, so I bought this game in a pack. This is back when you could buy computer games at Walmart. And this came... I actually bought this with my own money from my first job, which was, I did landscaping. So I'd mow lawns most of the time, but then I would help build retaining walls, driveways, stuff like that. And I bought this game because I watched this YouTuber, Prince of Macedon. I watched him play because I think at this point, I think 300 had already been out for a little while, but I was like, fucking Spartan! Ah! So I would go on YouTube and just start looking into everything that is Spartan, basically. And I was like, whoa, a video game with Spartans? What? And the video was a Prince of Macedon video where he had somebody, like, somebody said something about, it had to do with Spartan units. Hang on, let me see if I can find it, actually. I actually can't find the original video, which, again, this is like 10 plus years ago, which is super interesting that you can go back and, like, find these things. But he also has he had a really weird way of titling his videos back then. But pretty much he took some Spartans and he went against him. I think the other guy had Spartans too, and just demolished him. And it was super interesting to me that you could, you know, take these units, you could play a game with these units and move them exactly how you wanted to win. And it was just intrigued me so much, which really got me into I don't know if you could consider Rome Total War a 4X title, because I mean, I think you can, as long as if you play the campaign, I would consider it a 4X. But it's also a battle simulator at the same time. And yeah, this is again one of the titles in this like list, in this 3x3 that, like, would probably throw a few people off that don't really know me. And then, of course, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. My uncle introduced me to this game. I remember coming over and watching him in the final battle. You know, the final level in this game was Cell. Cell was the final boss, and after Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2, I think the final battle was after Goku makes his sacrifice, and then Cell comes back. And oh my god, the difficulty on that fight was just cranked to 11. And I remember just watching him just over and over and over and over and over trying to beat Cell, and he finally did it. And he had a, like, I remember it so vividly because I pointed at it, like, dude had the smallest sliver of health left and just finished it with a lucky just and defeated him. And you ever seen a very small living room with 5 grown-ass men, all black guys, and then one tiny white me on the couch with them, just get hype as shit? You're just like, oh, like, super amazing. This is my first Dragon Ball Z game, which, you know, the OGs played the Game Boy version, but the entire Budokai series I loved. I mean, because I played this a lot, and then I got Budokai II, but I ended up getting that on my GameCube. Shout out to the GameCube, best console ever. Tiny little discs. I got Budokai 2 on my GameCube, and again, like, it's a game from Japan that's altered for America, and you can see, like, and I'm not talking smack about Japan. Japan just has weird tastes in certain things, because you went from Budokai, which was a chapter story, like, storyboard, where Budokai 2, it went from that to a game board. Like, there's you had X amount of moves per turn. Continuity really wasn't a thing too with the story mode, because you fight against Nappa and Vegeta first, so there wasn't a Raditz, and you would have adult Gohan fighting as one of your allies. It's like, okay, but so yeah, Budokai 2 was a weird one, but I love that game too. I mean, you know, bananas, go Super Saiyan banana, because I remember seeing Super Saiyan for the first time in that game, and I was like, it looks like he has a big thing of bananas on his head. Budokai Tenkaichi III, that was another really good one. I mean, even this channel, some of the first videos that I uploaded on here were from Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, and I think I have some Xenoverse 2 videos on here. But I mean, it's no secret, I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. You know, and again, it's all the Dragon Ball Z games kind of take up this slot, but Budokai, the reason why the image of Budokai is on here is because that was the first Dragon Ball Z game I ever played, and again, countless hours with my uncle. Like, my Uncle Bernard, dude, you guys know that one uncle that would always happily beat your ass in a video game? That was him. Sid Meier's Civilization 2. Don't think anybody saw this title coming. So my mother and I, we lived with one of her best friends, and Matt is one of the reasons why I joined the army. That, and I do have family history in the military, but he was part of the deployment he went on, was the long 05 to 07 deployment that Minnesota took part in. And, you know, I remember when we first moved into his house, and he had this giant flat screen TV, but it wasn't like the flat screen TVs you see today. It was like this. It had the back of the big, you know, the bulb TVs. It had the back of that, but the whole front of it was flat, and you had to sit in just the right spot to see the image perfect, because it was just one of those, it was a weird screen. I'd never seen anything like it before in my life. And I remember I was watching Batman and Robin. This was after 4th grade. So this was the summer just going into 5th grade. I remember I was sitting on the couch watching Batman and Robin, and then hearing and not knowing what that was. And so I look over, and I would see this ancient looking video game. I was like, what's that? He was like, oh, this is Civilization. I was like, huh. It looks old. It's like, it is old. It's like, huh. Could I plug in my GameCube? He says, yeah, go for it. You know, so then he went on deployment, and then when he came back, he was still playing it, which I was like, at that point, so 05 to 07, so I was in 7th grade when he came back. And that's right, yeah, so I was 13. I was 13 when he came home, and I was curious, because he was still playing it, you know? So I asked him if he had another copy of it, and he's like, oh, I'll make you one. I was like, wait, did you make this game? He's like, no. No. But this dude would burn everything. Like, and again, some of you guys watching this might not even know about this, but you know, he'd burn movies, he'd burn CDs, he'd burn just, I didn't know he could write a whole game onto one of these discs, but he did. And I think I still have the disc somewhere. I would have to do some digging. Obviously it wasn't the graphics that fucking blew me away, but it was the first time I played a game where I didn't look at the graphics as the telltale sign of it, whether or not it's a good game. Because again, Civilization, like all the Civ games, really, again, this is another spot where it's a placeholder for all of them. And all the Civ games, what I love about it is again, it's another strategy game. So like playing the different scenarios. Like I remember in Civ 2, there was a Revolutionary War scenario that I loved playing that one. There was actually an Apocalypse one, which reskinned all the units. Like it was like Mad Max style stuff. It was really cool. And you know, and I'd have friends come over, and they would see this on my screen. They'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" They're like, "Oh, that's Civ 2." They're like, "Civ?" I was like, "Civilization." I'm like, it's a world building game. You create cities, you make units. They're like, "No, there's new versions of that, right?" And I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah." And I think at that point, Civ Revolution, I think was the name of it. Yeah, Civilization Revolution. And I think, was this a primarily console one? Or was it for PC? I can't remember. Dude, it was on the DS? I didn't know that. I knew it was on the 360. But I didn't really like that one. But then I think Civ 4. Was it Civ 4 that? No, it wasn't. It's 5. That's right. So when I got back, I think that it was announced before I left for basic training, and it had come out in the time that I was gone. Or I could be talking out of my ass right now. Hang on. Civ 5. Oh no, never mind. Okay. Civ 5, that was 2010. So this came out before I left for the army. So yeah, I got into Civ 5. 5 was awesome. I loved it. And it was actually the first Civ game where I actually played multiplayer. And of course, like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? So I thought I was being sneaky, going to invade this guy, and then just smacked. But Civ, so when I first played Civ 2, it was really one of those first games that just got me into thinking, like strategy. Actually, it's just hard to put into words, like, kind of like what it did for me. Like, planning for the future, you know what I mean? Like, putting that mentality in my head, like, okay, so, like, which sounds super fucking dumb. Really, like, what, a video game told you to plan for the future? Yes, because what Civ taught me was, like, okay, yeah, I'm working on this right now, but what's that guy over there working on? And how long do I have before what he's working on gonna come over here to stop what I'm working on? You know? And then if you had like 4 hours to kill, I played this at the airport. I played Civ 2 at the airport when I was waiting to go to basic training. I played it on my laptop. And I actually almost missed my flight because of it. Because again, Civ is one of those games where it's just like, just one more turn. Which there was actually a funny Facebook post that I shared with Matt. And it was like a Civilization anonymous support group. Like, you know, it's like AA, but it's for people who are addicted to Civ. Oh yeah, and I do have Civ 6 for my phone. And I play a lot of Civ 6 too. I actually just bought it for a buddy of mine because it was on sale for like $8. Sorry about that phone call. But yeah, I actually just bought Civ 6 for a buddy of mine because it's on sale for like $8 right now. But then again, I mean, Humankind's out now, which you guys will be seeing that quite a bit on this channel. I got some plans for it. But Civ, like, regardless of what Humankind is, the game Humankind, obviously, Civ 2 and 5 and 6 we'll always, they're the OGs. I mean, Civ 2 and specifically Civ 2 is always going to have a firm place right here. Because again, it was like, because Matt was also one of those guys, was one of those first guys that was my father figure. You know, looked up to him. I kind of took some of his mannerisms into, because again, like, my mom collected stepdads for me basically my entire life. Because my dad ran out on me when I was younger, which you guys have met. Him and I are talking. But, you know, and out of all those stepdads, I take things I liked, left things I didn't like, and all of those different guys over the years really kind of shaped me into the person I am. Same with these games and Matt too. I mean, you know, this game's always gonna have. I'm always gonna love this game. Now, Fable, it needs no introduction. Fable, again, is one of the first console games I played on the original Xbox. I played Fable during 4th grade. That's when I was playing it. So that was 2003, 2004, I think. And it really makes me mad that when I played Fable 2 and 3, I just wasn't. None of them compare to the original Fable, in my opinion. The first Fable is best Fable. And I mean, I played it here on the channel for Throwback Thursdays. I mean, such a great game. Like, I remember just the emotional connection I had with this game when you were in, spoiler alerts, just throwing it out there, when you're in the Chamber of Heroes, I think it's called the Chamber of Heroes, at the end, facing the Jack of Blades, and he kills your mom. The emotional distress I had, because I was so invested in the story, like, I lost it. And then, I mean, for me at that time, at the age I was, that was a really hard boss fight. Now that I'm older, when I got older and I played it again, it was a lot easier. But, and then, I don't think, because I know the Anniversary Edition had the extra content, and I think that was Lost Chapters, where it introduced the other sword that's supposed to be the same as the Sword of Aeons, but as a hero's version of it, that you don't have to sacrifice your sister to keep it. I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I think it was the Lost Chapters that had all that extra stuff, where you find out more stuff about your mother, and then I think the Jack of Blades comes back as a dragon. I mean, Jack of Blades, bro, such an amazing character. There's a book on Jack of Blades too, which is a really good book too. That's the thing about video games that I love so much, is that they inspire a lot of people to bring out their creativity and write books, or they make video games entirely themselves. Now, one thing about Fable that it'll always be in my head is just the voice acting. The voice acting was the greatest thing ever. And I can't remember the specific accent it's called, but the chicken chaser.
What a stupid name.
Chicken chaser.
Chicken chaser.
Do you chase chickens?
Chicken chaser.
Aw,
Chicken chaser?
chaser. Look at the chickens
Oh, well,
run.
good luck, chicken chaser. Chicken
I
chaser.
bid you greetings.
Again. Well, probably. I mean, maybe it was just the mushrooms and she's actually just an ugly stick victim.
Find him, let me know, won't you? You have? Right. I'm gonna turn him into Balverine food. Thank you, young sir, for telling me.
Oh, thank goodness. Listen, lad, could you do me a favour? I've got to, answer a call of nature. Oh, stay here and watch this stock for me. There's a good lad. Just stand between those two stacks and don't move. I'll put a good word in for you when I get back. Right, won't be long.
My cousin says that the barrels in these warehouses might have stuff in them. Quick, while he's away, smash his barrels up and see what's inside. Unless you're too scared. Unless you're just a big blubbing girl. Come on, let's go and break stuff. Are you just gonna stand there like a lemon? But being good is so boring. Wouldn't you prefer to be smashing things?
But there you have it. So this is my 3x3. These are the games that really left their mark on my life. Because Fable, I'll go back and I'll play Fable at least twice a year. I'm not gonna lie, I've played this multiple times a year for quite a while. Civ 2. To be honest, I haven't played Civ 2 in a long time, but I mean, I play Civ 6 quite a bit. I've been playing Civ 5 with my other friend because he doesn't have 6, well, he does now, so we'll probably play it on there. Then hey, there's Humankind. Humankind's another good game, but again, Civ we'll still play. I still play Xenoverse 2. I have Kakarot, but I haven't gotten too far into it yet. And then Rome Total War, we don't talk about. too much anymore, because current titles, yeah. Legend of Zelda, always play it, love it. And I mean, all of the Elder Scrolls I absolutely love. I might, on the Twitch channel, I might play Oblivion on the Twitch channel, just to play it and re-experience it. Call of Duty, not really so much anymore, just because I don't like where things have been going with it. Like really doubling down on the BR stuff. Assassin's Creed, I mean, you guys don't think I still play Assassin's Creed, but I do. I'm just trying to fix a few things with Valhalla so I can start that Let's Play back up. Which, I mean, do you guys even want to see Valhalla anymore? Let me know. I would love to. I'm gonna play it regardless, but if I'm gonna play it, I would like to at least share it with you. So let me know in the comments if you guys want to see the rest of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And then, I mean, Halo. Again, like, Halo, like, just the books. If Halo wasn't even a video game, and it was just a series of books, I'd still love it. But alright guys, this is a very long video. Hopefully you guys made it through alright. There's gonna be a ton of editing in this because I'm gonna have like stuff on the screen for you guys to see as like examples from each game and stuff, especially Civ. You guys are gonna see the graphics from Civ 2 and you'll be like, Hanson, what the fuck were you playing? Greatness is what I was playing. Greatness. But alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys like this video, please slap that like button, and if you're brand new here, please consider subscribing. But for me, that's my time. I have to get out of here. Have a great rest of your day. Set goals, crush them. I'm out. Peace.